College wasn't really the best route for me. I tried it out 3 times. In the facility, I'm looking at these massive jet engines. Although I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. Something in my head said, if I can fix this, cars or anything shouldn't be a problem. My introduction or what helped me again is a desire to always want to be fixing things.
Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on the Falling for Learning podcast. I am TD Flenaw, the host and a career educator. Our podcast here is focusing on parents and making sure that their kids are on track for learning and to stay on track for success. And today we have a special guest, Manker Biah. He is an aircraft technical engineer, and we have him on the show to really talk about his path and his education leading up to becoming an aircraft technical engineer. Thanks again for having us.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for having me this evening. It is definitely an honor and look forward to sharing as much as I can to help the next generation for sure.
Yeah, so can you tell us what really drew you into this career? What sparked it for you?
Well, what drew me into it, to be honest, it wasn't something that I planned. Being born and raised African, I grew up, I came to the state very young, and the goal has always been be a doctor, be an engineer of some sort. But college wasn't really the best route for me. I tried it out 3 times.
Oh, wow.
I tried it out 3 times. It just wasn't cutting it. And so I just, at the time decided to settle into working multiple jobs. I did that for a very long time. But at the same time, I've always been very great with my hands, very great with my hands. And I got encouraged by my significant other at the time, was like, my parents said, if you don't have a college degree, it ain't gonna work out. And it's not gonna work out for us. I was like, oh boy, okay. With a male ego, I'm like, well, whatever. But that I embedded something within me, and I kept, like trying to figure out, okay, did I come to America just to, work at restaurants and work at these warehouses and things of that nature? But, when we had that conversation, she was like, I mean, if you're not even going to go to college, at least let's figure out something that you could do with your hands. Okay. Right. And because I've always been, mechanically inclined, working on cars, doing this, doing that. And it's something that I really never thought about. So when she brought it up, I was like, okay, maybe I could go and become a car mechanic.
Okay.
And that was something that I was thinking about, car or bikes. I wanted something maybe a little different. And
one second. So how old were you at this point?
At this point, I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 20, 21 around that. And I'm just, processing. And it was really by accident that I passed by the school, the aviation school that's actually kind of in the neighborhood, honestly. And if you're familiar with Georgia, it's in Duluth. And I was just like, I looked at it for a while. I passed by, I looked at it for a while. I'm like, that's interesting. Let me go check it out. Literally, I went in and asked some questions to like the admin, and they walked me around in the facility. I'm looking at these massive jet engine and looking at all that. I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. Like, something in my head said, if I can fix this, cars or anything shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
And really that was my deciding factor when I went there. It took me about a month to get enrolled, and it was a 2-year program to get enrolled and be where I'm at now. But Yeah, this really was the deciding factor or the roadmap for me to get into the aviation world.
Wow. So just by chance going in there, what did your parents think about this when they heard about the aviation?
My parents, once they finally, well, first of all, they're super excited that I actually, found a path that I enjoy because they definitely have seen me, fixing cars and doing this and that, always, so they were happy that it's something that I enjoy doing. And the fact that I was in school also was definitely,
Okay.
encouraging to them. But yeah, it was definitely, I mean, a struggle in a sense because it's a whole new industry I didn't know much about, right?
Right.
Going to school, learning. And again, college wasn't really my strong suit. So I didn't have a focus of, getting it done, or I didn't have a passion in school. So what helped me out, it was a lot of hands-on,
Okay.
right? Not necessarily, going and just reading books and getting the information from the books. We get the information from the books and we see it in real life,
Okay.
right? We're able to apply it. So that really helped me out.
So what was the name of your college or your
Oh,
institute that you went to?
it's called Aviation Institute of Maintenance. There's actually quite a few locations that's out here.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, stepping back, knowing what I know now, a lot of kids actually, and some coworkers I've actually had, got an opportunity to take some of these curriculum in high school. There are some,
Okay.
there are some high school that actually provide these programs when you're in high school. So just like how they do a college prep
Yeah.
thing, yeah, some high school actually provide those. And when you're done with it, you take tests and just get a license.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
saying it was a 2-year program and it's not like a associate degree or anything. It's just like a certificate for
It's
this.
a certificate, correct. It's not a associate. You can get a associate in college, I believe, for it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so what do you really find fulfilling about the job?
First of all, those massive engines, I'm able to literally fix them. Like those things that's, you know, transport people like 300, 400, maybe 500 people at one time. That I could actually look at it and say, yeah, I know how it operates. I know how it works. And I
Yeah.
can put it together. That is just amazing. And it's a lot of people's dream to just be able to fly,
Right.
right? And for myself, I know coming to America, flying wasn't really something that was a dream, but I was also afraid of height. So I never really wanted to ride in a plane. But
Right.
yeah, it's just an amazing feeling to be able to work on those. Every time I get a chance to, it's amazing. I enjoy it, truly.
Okay. So you said you grew up African. Can you tell us like what country you came from? Your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Born and raised West Africa, Liberia.
Okay.
Yeah, I came here as a refugee.
All right. So how long have you been here now?
I've been in the States pretty much all my life. I came age of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to go back to that you said is that, college wasn't your thing. What made this different than like the traditional college that you were having an issue with before?
Well, first, the traditional college, there's not really a guarantee of a job, traditional college, right? We go, we learn these, pick these majors, we pick these subjects and things of that nature. And you might even get your degree in business management or even get your, because I went in first, of course, I wanted to be the doctor. And I started taking pre-med and I just like, yeah, this ain't me. That's not the language that really resonate with me. But this to me was different because again, it wasn't so much of just learning just a lot of technical information that's not useful,
Right.
right? I can literally learn the information and go apply it and see it come to life, right? And that's really helped me because, again, it was pretty much career focused, bottom line.
So when we think about, this is not like the same as traditional college, like what is there like big tuition to go with it and like student loans?
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely you can get student loans, there's grant, you use FAFSA. So all of those programs are definitely available for an individual that gets approved. Obviously, you can get the student loans
Mhm.
if you qualify for grants and things of that nature. Absolutely.
So it's a private school that you attended, or is it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, private.
Hello, parents and caregivers. Join us every Wednesday for our Well Educated Wednesdays on Instagram Live from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. We will be getting your questions answered about how to get kids on track for learning and to stay on track for success. It's free and you can ask any question that you would like. We're here to serve you and to make sure that you have the tools and strategies needed to make sure your kids are a success. And you can make sure that next generation is on a path to greatness. So, what about your educational background before you got into this program really helped you do well in this program? Was there some things like, as our parents are listening, are there some type of skills and knowledge that you had in your foundation that helped you succeed in this program?
Great question. Honestly, it's one of those, if you are mechanically inclined and you have the desire and interest to build something and be, you know, you got kids that from a tender age are always amazing with Legos, and you be like, oh, that's gonna be my architect. That's gonna. So honestly, that's my introduction, or what helped me again is a desire to always want to be fixing things. But as far as the traditional education wise, maybe a basic math in high school, physics. I mean, physics. High school education is very important, especially for this program as well, because you got to know a lot about physics and math.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So parents really need to look out for like, are your children into building or mechanically inclined, and that might be a career path that you could steer them towards. Obviously there's lots of options, and that's the point of having you on is making sure that people understand like all the different choices there are out there. I mean, it could be a 4-year college, it could be a 2-year program like you went through, or just starting your own business, entrepreneurship. So we definitely promote that here on the Falling for Learning podcast. So because it was like 2 years, I'm wondering about, and so we're going to get personal, but do you like, what's like the starting pay for that kind of job?
No, for sure. So once the school is over, there's a series of tests you have to take to be able to finish the programs. You got some people that don't take the test until they complete the program.
Mm.
It's definitely not helpful to do so because obviously the information is fresh and you want to be able to take the test as you go. But there are definitely a lot of series of tests. And then at the end, you have to do a test. You have a instructor that you have to perform, actually pretty much build something.
Oh, do it in front of them.
Yeah, in front of
Okay.
them, right? But after that, right? After that, you are able to get your license and stuff. So from there, for me, there was no job in the state of Georgia that was hiring with no experience. So I had to go to Chicago for the first time. But starting out there was about 15 bucks an hour, plus because license pay. But yeah, about 15, $16 I started out.
Okay.
Now, it might be a little more now because, again, like, you mentioned this is an industry that one is not known well, and a lot of the people that's already in it are kind of phasing out in a sense or going into retirement. So they definitely need a lot of young blood, so to speak, right, to get
Mm-hmm.
into it and get to know about it. So they're definitely recruiting and promoting as much as they can. There are a lot of airlines that are actually doing some programs to encourage people to get into the field by making it easily accessible to get into the schools. And also, as a byproduct, the pay rate has been increased a little bit, maybe to adjust with inflation and things. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a lot better now than it was when I
For the
started.
beginning rate. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for explaining that information about it and making sure we can have different options for our students as they are growing up. And I know that you also have another career that you're working on. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh no, for sure. My second passion is personal financial education. That again, it's something that I definitely had no idea growing up when I was doing my whole dead end jobs and things of that nature. I used to use the excuse of, hey, working at a restaurant, it's okay not to have money. And that's a terrible excuse. Uh, it's a terrible excuse. But yeah, the passion with that is really providing financial education to the masses and basically understanding the importance of our habits with money, right? Whether it's understanding your credit, right? What got your credit to be where it's at? Understanding the importance of investment, emergency funds, even life insurance, right? Those are industry that a lot of people kind of get confused about because, oh, life insurance for the deaf. Oh, I could be rich overnight with life insurance. Which
Mm-hmm.
one is true? Which one is not? How you can marry it to really get to your goal as far as living the life that you want to live, because ultimately we all have this, everybody want to be wealthy, bottom line, right? But how we get there is really what makes it different. But yeah, that's really what our passion is: personal financial education.
Okay. All right. And as far as your career in aircraft technical engineering, how long have you done that job?
I've been in the industry going on 10 years. I'm like literally a few months shy of 10 years, which is pretty, interesting because I'm like, man, it's 10 years already, right? Like it felt like yesterday I was, doing two jobs and trying to make sure I get to school on time and things of that nature. But yeah, it's been 10 years. And I wish again I knew about the high school portion of it because I was living in New York. I didn't know nothing about it. And family living out there, I would have definitely done that. And I had student loans, but you live and learn, so yeah.
Okay. And then, so what are opportunities there for like career advancement in aircraft technical engineering and
Yeah. So you can, from a mechanic to what's called lead, which will be pretty much like assistant management. You know, you could be management, you could be a supervisor, you could be a operational manager, regional, even up to like a VP. There's definitely rooms to advance.
okay.
Yeah. Now, to get into management, you want to be able to have your bachelor or master and things of that nature.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And if parents or someone wanted to reach out to you about either your job or the background about your aircraft technical engineering,
Mhm.
how do they follow you or look you up?
Oh, I am everywhere on social media. Manker Biah on all social media platform, or yeah, that would probably be the best way to get in contact with me, or of course, emails. things of that. But yeah.
Okay. And then as far as your business goes with the financial education, what kind of programs do you offer or services that you offer?
Really, the main service we offer is we do workshop Monday through Friday. And the workshop just encompasses everything within the financial realm, from making sure we are budgeting properly, making sure we understand, things like life insurance, make sure we understand different aspects of investments, what's out there and what we can take advantage of. At what stage we are in getting to that financial goal, right? And helping you as an individual understand where you at and how you want to get there. So that's the main thing. And from there, we're able to assist person, right? What it is, hey, you're struggling with an investment because you don't really understand it, then we'll guide you personally. Or if you want to know about life insurance and how you could use it for yourself, we help with those. So it's multiple things that we help, but the focus is to get the personal education out there. Because it's funny that, there's a lot of things to teach in school, but personal finance, that's literally everybody's goal. It's not taught in school.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And everyone has to have money. Money makes the world go round.
It does. And I'm actually really proud to hear that as of lately, maybe the last 5 or so years, there are certain high schools that are making it mandatory that students to take personal finance before they graduate, which is incredible, right? That's really incredible to me. So yeah, it's because you're allowed to have like student loans up to like 200,000-300,000, but yeah, they don't tell you about these interests on these student loans that you have to pay it back, and yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
17, 18 years old. Yeah, you could
right.
for these
You
loans.
know,
Absolutely. And so, yeah, that's why we want to talk about all the different options that are available to kids. They may be taking the 4-year college route, or, there's ways to get that financed. But, a lot of people do go into debt for it. But then, there's also entrepreneurship. And like you did a 2-year program that you connected directly to a career. So.
yes, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend. If again, right now I don't have kids, but honestly, my recommendation for, if kids are in high school right now, kind of trying to choose path, do a program.
While
Right
they're in high school.
right out of high school, do a program, something. Having a skill, nobody could ever take a skill from you. You will always have a job when you actually develop a skill. Right now, you can, after you get those skills, you could go back to school and, you know 4 year, 8 years, PhD, whatsoever you desire. If that's
Mhm.
your desire, definitely do that. But once you develop that skill, you'll literally always have a job, one, and two, that entrepreneur ride is also there, right? If you have that mindset, you could use that skill to be your own boss. So I highly recommend, doing some type of program that will actually start you off in life, because you'll never lose that.
Yeah. So you have any advice for parents when they're like steering their kids or helping them, that might be helpful, or maybe some things that they shouldn't do that maybe turn the kids off or.
It really just kind of mirror into what I just said. If instead of trying to push them to go to the cottage route, again, making sure that your kids is able to be able to generate income, right? Because the goal, from a lot of conversations I've always had with, parents or adults is, my kid's going to go to college because I went to that school. My kid's going to get their master's because I got a bachelor. They're going to do one step better than me, which again, it might be your goal. It might not be the kid's goal. Or if it is, at least make sure they're able to always, one, finance their life, make sure they're good, right? And a skill is something that you can never take from somebody.
Mhm.
Honestly, promote and encourage them to develop a skill. That would be, really one advice that I would give parents. in regard to, pushing the kids to the next. And of course, encourage their dream, whatever that is.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's their life. And it's not about your dream that you want for them. It's about theirs. It might not look right pretty in the beginning, but it do usually work out in the end.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us, and check out Manker Biah on the social media platforms. And thanks again for joining the Falling for Learning podcast. See you next week.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again for joining the Falling for Learning podcast. I am TD Flinall. We drop new episodes every Saturday at 5 p.m. Join us on YouTube at youtube.com/@fall4learning. youtube.com/fall4learning. You can also catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major podcast platforms. And we appreciate you for joining us and making sure that you have the tools and resources to make sure your children are on track for learning and can stay on track for success. Have a great week. Thanks again.